Chapter 11. Light, Shadows and Eclipses. Let's learn about luminous and non-luminous objects, materials and light. Eclipses. How can we see color? Shadows. Luminous and non-luminous objects. Certain things produce light. For example, the sun, the stars, fire, torch, and electric bulbs, etc. give out light. These bodies are called luminous bodies. Luminous objects are both natural and man-made. The sun is a natural luminous object. It is the biggest source of light for us. Firefly is another natural luminous object. The things we use to get light when there is darkness are man-made luminous objects. Examples are tube light, bulb, LED, torch, etc. Alphabet. The moon is not a luminous object. It has no light of its own. Objects which do not give out light are known as non-luminous bodies. Wood, stone, a leaf, the earth, and the moon are a few examples of non-luminous bodies. How can we see color? We can see a thing when light falls on it. When the light falls on an object, the object absorbs some of the light and throws back part of it. Such as when light falls on a green leaf, absorbs all the other parts of the light rays except green. The green light bounces off the leaf and enters our eyes. Alphabet. White light is made of 7 colors: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Materials and light. Different materials allow different amounts of light to pass through them. Materials can be grouped based on the amount of light they allow to pass through them. Light can pass through a few substances like glass and water. Substances that allow light to pass through them are called transparent substances. Light cannot pass through some substances like wood, stone, and metal. Substances that do not allow light to pass through them are called opaque substances. Substances which allow only a little light to pass through them are called translucent substances. Thin paper, dark glasses, and water with particles of various substances are examples of translucent substances. Light travels in a straight line. Light rays travel in a straight line. We can verify the straight line motion of light with the help of a simple activity. Shadows. When a translucent or an opaque object is placed before a source of light, a dark spot is formed near the object. The dark spot formed by a translucent or an opaque object when it blocks light is called a shadow. Transparent objects do not form shadows as they do not block light. There are 3 things needed for a shadow to form. They are as follows. A source of light, a translucent or an opaque object, a surface on which the shadow can be formed. Features of shadow. A shadow has the following features. Position of a shadow. A shadow is always formed opposite to the source of light. Shape of a shadow. The shape of shadow depends on the angle in which light falls on it, or the shape of the part of the object that blocks the path of light. Size of a shadow. The size of a shadow is long when the light source is placed along the length of an object, and it is short when the light source is placed along the width of an object. You must have seen that the length of your shadow on the ground keeps changing at different times of the day. In the morning and evening, the sun is positioned quite low in the sky and your shadow is long. When the sun is placed overhead in the afternoon, your shadow becomes small. A shadow usually has two parts, an area of complete darkness at the center known as the umbra, an area of partial darkness at the edges known as penumbra. The umbra receives no light from the source while the penumbra receives only some light from the source. Eclipses. To be eclipsed means to be hidden. Sometimes the sun, moon and earth come into position as though they are all in a straight line. At times the earth comes between the moon and the sun, and at other times the moon comes between the sun and the earth. At such times the one in the middle casts a shadow which partially or wholly hides the other from the sun. This is called an lunar eclipse. When the earth comes between the sun and the moon, it blocks a lot of sunlight from reaching the moon and creates a shadow. This is called an eclipse of the moon or lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse may be partial or total. During a partial lunar eclipse, only a part of the moon can be seen. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon cannot be seen at all. Solar eclipse. When the moon comes between the earth and the sun, it blocks some parts of the sun and creates a shadow. The sun looks as though it has a disk in front of it that creates a shadow. This is called a solar eclipse. Solar eclipse may be partial or total. During a partial solar eclipse, a part of the sun can be seen. During a total solar eclipse, the sun cannot be seen at all. Key points. Luminous objects are sources of light, whereas non-luminous objects reflect light. Substances can be transparent, opaque or translucent. Light travels in a straight line in the form of rays. A shadow is formed when an opaque object blocks the path of light. An eclipse occurs when a heavenly object moves into the shadow of another. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon comes between the sun and the earth.